Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Wyoming Parks and Rec Committee meeting Thursday, October 16th, 2025. Please note that this meeting is being broadcast and recorded. Recordings will be made available on the town's YouTube channel. I ask that if you have any mobile devices that they're off or on vibrate, please. If you have any pecuniary interests, please declare them at the appropriate time. I have a couple of delegations tonight, so we're going to jump to Kamlaki Athletic Association. And Rob, you're up.
Thank you. Good evening, Rob Shortreed. I'm president of the Kamlaki Athletic Association, representing the baseball guys out there. First of all, we had a really good season this year. Numbers were up for the boys' side. They fluctuated a little bit for the ladies' teams this year, so we're working our magic for next year to hopefully get those numbers up with the new kids coming into the subdivision. We hosted 3 tournaments this year for our league play, and we also hosted our regular group of ladies 2-pitch team, and we had a year-end tournament for them as well. So we are happy to do that for those guys. Couple things that are on our plate for the next future, and the reason why I'm kind of want to be here tonight to talk to you guys about is as we have some requests for our allocated funds, and one of those is a refurbishment of our vent fan for the canteen. We had a little bit of a problem with our fan, kind of gave up the ghost, and we needed to get some stuff looked at. So we managed to secure one quote and another one that's coming down the road here shortly. But Abrams was in. We brought Abrams in to have a look at it. We understand that Abrams does some of the work for the Wyoming as well, so we thought we'd stick with those guys. At least have them in and come and give us a look at. So the fan itself basically has given up its ghost. It was, I believe, the original fan was borrowed or taken or commandeered from the Optimus Hall, right?
Problem.
So it's had its life. So what we're looking to do there is a like for like trade out and possible upgrade to the current code situation for that fan system. As you may know, we do run a small canteen there. There's no fired units in that canteen. It's all electric. So electric fryer, electric broiler, and so we'd be looking to kind of get that funding for the fan in order to make it up to code, and then give us a little bit of relief in the summertime due to the heat and stuff that's going on in there. Okay. The other thing that's kind of cropped up is that our membership has kind of said to us as a board and executive is that they feel kind of disassociated, that the boys are playing hardball at Lakeshore, and there's a little bit of a disconnect between the rest of the baseball association. So we formulated a plan and came together and talked as a board, and what we'd like to do is rework diamond number 3, which is at the very back, adjacent to the museum, and turn it into a hardball diamond for the boys. Lakeshore will still be in use. We're going to turn that basically into a practice facility, or if we have to run another game out there in order to coordinate with the hardball. The hardball diamond on 3s will not affect any of the little guys playing baseball because of the distance between the plate and the pitching mound. So we're looking to put in a solid pitching mound on 3. We've had numerous complaints with the portable pitching mound from various other organizations, including ourselves. It is a safety hazard because it does heave in the wintertime, and it's kind of a pain in the butt to move it on and off the field as directed. So with that undertaking, there is some kind of a timeline crunch here that we have to kind of give that contractor the go ahead and get in line for possibly starting this year or starting next year being first, to hit the ground kind of in preparation for the baseball season to start. So it is quite a big undertaking. There's removing gravel, there's cutting the field to the proper length, reshaping the diamond, putting in the appropriate hard mound, putting in the appropriate base lengths, and as well as the home plate. And we're happy to do all that, and going to do all that anyway. So we kind of like either to use our funds from this year and for next year as a down payment, either for the diamond upgrade or the fan upgrade, and then, next year moving forward, using that money again for offsetting the cost of the diamond refurbishment.
By turning that into a hardball diamond, what about what's on like the outfield? How much room have we got?
So we brought in Marco Clay, and they did all the measurements, and we're within where we need to be
I'm
for
worried about the neighbors more
the
than.
neighbors. So we have neighbors directly behind us, but they're off the diamond quite a ways. There's enough distance between where the ball is hit basically at home plate to the outfield they wouldn't be in any jeopardy. And the side diamond or the side neighbors are half fenced, and it's an open field back there behind the complex there. It wouldn't touch them. Guys.
Southwest kind, whatever that was.
Yeah.
308 feet from home plate to the property.
Okay, and then
It's a
so
big
houses or anything like that. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, when you have tournaments, you use that third diamond though.
So the diamond would be able to be used for
Still can be used for softball
tournament.
sides. Okay, I didn't.
Yeah, because the 15s pitch from the under 15 boys would pitch from a mound, and the under 18 boys would pitch from a mound. The distance between the mound and home plate is, I believe it's 60 feet, 6 inches. So if the little guys were on there with say a pitching machine, their distance is not going to affect where that diamond is. They'd still be able to use it.
Right.
And what about your softball?
What's that, sorry?
Your softball tournaments?
So the softball tournaments, mostly we run on 1 and 2, and there's some back at 3 on the off night. But again, with the pitching mound the way it is, they would be out of harm's way. Yeah.
Right, do we have an estimate on the fan cost? You said you had one.
So I have one from Abrams, and it's in the ballpark of around $6,000 or $7,000 to get everything refurbished. It's not cheap. Right? It's an old fan. The hood, the mount, like everything kind of has to be kind of brought back up to snuff. Right? So that's
We're getting lots for the trade-in, right?
no. Again, we can't complain. We've got our use out of the fan over the course of the years. I guess it was a donation.
I'd say that would have come from somewhere.
Yep.
Anything else, Ted?
Oh, that's it for tonight.
Else? No, great, thank you. Appreciate it. Gives us.
Yes.
Before
He
you,
says I'm not done yet.
no, before you go, just a little item. Can your association keep our secretary abreast of the scheduling? If there's any kind of a change in your scheduling for tournaments, especially, and then we wouldn't run into any problems when we know there's a tournament on, we're aware.
Sure, we can do that 100%. It's also posted on the website as soon as the season starts, and as soon as we know that there's a change, it goes right to the main page on our website anyway. So but we can certainly.
It'd be nicer if she's alerted rather than has to check up on it. Okay.
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure, no problem.
Great, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a good night.
Thank you. Go Jays.
Yes.
Jeez. All right, next up, we have Narendra Paul Singh on the residents of the Arrow Woods. That was called Arrow Woods Park. Mr. Ving, you have the floor.
Yeah, before I start, I want to hand in this petition support. We have 60 signatures.
Oh, okay.
See that you have.
Be here to get a copy of it and then, give it back. Or do you need it back?
I mean, we don't need it. It's just.
Okay, well, then we'll-
Yeah. I'm beginning again. My name is Narinder. I'm representing Arrowwood subdivision to discuss the issue of the park or the drainage area. Less of a park, more of a drainage area. I want to thank the committee for this opportunity to speak on this topic. All the residents, they are like grateful for the opportunity to be able to speak, right? But at the same time, it's really unfortunate that we had to spend so much time on writing this letter, spending time here on an issue that should have been taken care during the planning phase of the subdivision. So I'll go into the bit of a background first. So when this subdivision was being planned, there was a promise of a usable, family-friendly park. Like I saw the layout, there was a park and these are the lots. And our house was the first one to be built in that subdivision. And we got the park almost after 2 years. And when we look at the park, it's not actually a park. I'm not sure how many of you have actually seen that place, but it's not actually a park. So I'm going to read this from the staff report for phase 2 Arrowwood from 2021. It says that the park designed for block 127 stormwater management facility / park proposed by the applicant be accepted by the town of Plympton-Wyoming Council. The design is to include, but not be limited to, walking path, park furniture such as benches and sitting areas, and contain elements for recreation for all age groups that include children, adults, and seniors. So despite these statements in the report, the park is not accessible or usable in practice, and I'll go, what the issues are. So there are a few specific problems. The first one is that the play area itself is too small, and it just serves kids maybe up to 5 years of age. So anyone who is like 8 or 9 years old, they don't even have any equipment to play. So currently the park has a slide, a swing, and a monkey bar, which is of this height. So someone who is 8 or 9 year old, they can't even use that. So I'm going to read this from one of the 9-year-old kid, and that's her wording. She said, "All of our friends were disappointed, like after looking at the park. The playground is for little kids and there's nothing for older kids." This is sad. This is sad to hear from your kid when they come to you and they say this. So the swing that the slide that currently there is used, again, if you are up to 4 or 5 years old, right? And that slide has a netted area, which is again a hazard for a kid of that age because they kind of fell down. Like my son is almost 2 and he wants to go that side, but we have to always climb up the stairs with him so that he won't fall from there. So there's a safety issue with that swing as well. And the playground, the swing area it doesn't even have a boundary. I think the residents have reached out in the past to request a boundary around the play area. And it was being told that the contractor would rectify it, but it's been 2 years and still there's nothing, no boundaries has been done. And the weed is coming into the play area now. Second is, so I want you guys, I want to request you guys to put on a hat of someone who is on a wheelchair, who is using a stroller or having mobility issues. So currently there's no seating. So when you go to the park, there's just a decorative boulder that's the only place where you can sit. So my father-in-law, that's his wording. He said, "I don't like going to the park with our 1.5 2 years old son, because my father-in-law doesn't have a space to sit. He just have to sit on a rock and he just can't sit on the rock for more than 5 minutes. And there's no shaded area as well. So we had a brutal summer. Winter is coming. We are grateful for the summer, but it was really hot. So there was no shaded area or shelter in the park where you can go during the hot days. So what the residents are doing, they're going to the parks in other communities. But the park is a space where community gathers, where friendship is made, where kids, play together and they make a lifelong friendship. But we are kind of being denied that opportunity currently. And currently, the walking area is made of gravel. And the gravel is not accessible, again, someone who is using a stroller, someone on a wheelchair, and someone with mobility issue. So my neighbors, they're seniors, and she doesn't have any mobility issue, but that's her wording saying that even I can't walk on that gravel. So even if the town uses fine gravel, that is still not accessible during wet season. It becomes wet and the wheelchair or the stroller won't move on that. And the stormwater area, in order to access that green space, you have to go down a slope. Again, not accessible. So if you're in a wheelchair, you're elderly, or you're using a cane, you just can't go down the slope. So you can't even use that green area. So it's like a big green area down the slope, and here are the swings. The swings are just a very tiny area. So you can't even use that space right now. And again, resident waited for almost 2 years to get that space. And there's no lighting in the park. You can't even use it after dusk, like 6 or 7 p.m. There's no lighting, and it's not safe either. There's no basketball court or playing field for, again, kids who are older. What the kids are doing right now, they are playing on the street. I've seen them playing on the street we have construction going on. They're using that construction site to play because they have nothing else to do in that park area, which is, again, unfortunate. We have close to 200 houses. And imagine 200 houses and count the number of people, and then they don't have a place. The kids don't have a place. The young people don't have a place to gather. And we don't have any transportation in the area either. There's no public transportation. So those who don't drive, those who are in wheelchair, again, they don't have any space, any place to go. We have a high pet ownership in the area. Just on my street, I live in Paul Crescent. We have more than 10 dogs. Some houses have more than one, but there's no dog area or dog park. So this is also creating an issue because we have just one place for the dogs and for the humans, and it can create tension sometimes. And those who are with the dogs, they don't sometimes feel comfortable using that space. So yeah, having no dog area in an area with a high pet ownership is another issue. That park area is recently installed, but if you get a chance to look at it, maybe Alex have seen it. It looks like it doesn't look like a brand new place. It's full of weeds. The gravel path is full of weed, and you can see the small plants coming out of the gravel area, and it has not been maintained. We have sent some emails as well regarding maintenance and being told that it will be maintained going forward starting next year. But again, this is unfortunate. Why, after spending so much money on this area, why it's not being maintained right away? There's another thing regarding there was no garbage bin. 200 houses going to use that place and no garbage bin. After complaint, only one garbage bin has been installed, just one, in a community of 200 houses. Again, this is better than nothing, but yeah, there should be more. Some of the people who have bought these lots, right, they paid a premium of, up to my knowledge, around 20 grand premium for the lots which were facing the park. But when they have seen the park, it's not a park, it's more of a ditch. And when I've talked to them and other residents, and there's a feeling of a betrayal. They don't have a community pride. Oh, we have the park. This is our park. We are a part of community. They are feeling like they have been cheated on after paying such a premium for the lots. In Appendix A and B in the letter, we have provided the photos comparing Blue Point with Entire Woods Park, and you can see the contrast. Blue Point has recreation space and amenities to support various activities like basketball, tennis, pickleball, and much larger green space, whereas Arrowwood has none. There's no space to play. And so this is a great inequity if we compare it with the Blue Point. So again, this situation it's just not about the park. It's about the community cohesion. we need a space where we can gather and enjoy, and our kids can grow and they can know their neighbors, play with them, make lifelong friendships. So this is more about having a park. It's just not about having swings. Yeah, that's part of it, but that the parks actually help in community cohesion. And another thing, having no park is a safety risk because kids are now playing on the streets, or they are going to another park in Brights Grove, and for that you have to cross the Lakeshore Road. That has a speed of 80. People go over 100 on that road. So it's a safety issue as well. And a large population, we have a lot of seniors in our community, and they have been kind of left out. So in my home, we have a toddler. I have a person on a wheelchair, my sister, and we have my in-laws and my mom. They're seniors. So they just don't have anything to do in that park. And that's a story of almost every home in the area. And this is also eroding trust by not fixing that park, and then not giving the resident that was being promised in the, when the plans were seen and when the lots were being purchased. There was a different storyline at that time, that okay, there would be a park, nice park, you can have your families, but now there's an erosion of trust as well. So what we are requesting here, through this community. So the whole subdivision is requesting that the gravel path should be replaced with something that is paved. No fine gravels or big gravels, just something that is actually paved, so that can be used in all seasons. That can be used, whether you have a stroller or you're in a wheelchair or you're elderly with a cane. So that can be used by everyone, but that is only possible if the path is paved. There should be benches, sitting area, some shaded area. There are trees, but the trees will take like years before they will provide the shade. So there should be at least some sheltered structures. There should be lighting in the park as well, so that it can be enjoyed. Yeah, so there should be lighting as well in the park, so the park can be used even in the evening time. And there should be some playfield. Right now, the green area, the stormwater facility, that was supposed to be for multi-use, using as a stormwater facilities and as well as for recreational purposes as well, but that has not been done so far. Having a dog park or some enclosed dog run for a community that has a high pet ownership, that is required as well. And last but not the least, that taking accountability for the maintenance of the area. That should have been done right from the beginning, but unfortunately, it has not been done. And then what the residents are requesting, they are requesting some sort of a written response from the committee, how all these issues and this recommendations that has been provided by the residents, what is the plan of the committee and how that will be included in the budget planning, or which things would be done in the coming year. So things like that. Residents were really excited to, after waiting for 2 years, that, when we saw the swings were being installed, but that excitement didn't live long when we see that nothing else has been done after that. I want to thank the committee for their time and attention, and I want to emphasize again that residents are looking for some sort of fairness and a functional, safe, and most importantly, an inclusive park. I really appreciate your time. I know your job, budgeting and all that stuff is not an easy task. So we do appreciate that, and appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you very much. Just on a few of the maintenance issues. Some have been the boundary around the park. Parkette. Are you
Yes.
familiar with that? And
Yeah, so through the chair, it hasn't been our practice to install a border per se. If you go to any of our other parks where we have installed the engineered wood fiber, it is just, it meets with the grass line. There's probably something that can be done for trimming the weeds, but we have not been putting in, like, say, a wood border. We certainly don't want to elevate it because that would go back to your point about accessibility and you wouldn't be able to take a wheelchair over it.
Even the engineered wood, I don't know how accessible that is. Like, you have a wheelchair of 400 pounds. That engineered, you know, when the wheelchair goes in that area, that engineered wood, it just kind of goes down. That is not, so having no boundary, again, the weeds are again coming into that's one of the issue. And even engineered wood, like I've seen some parks in Sarnia, they have some solid but soft. So if a kid falls on that, I don't know what the area, the thing is called is, yeah. So even if kids fall on that, they won't get hurt, but it's like solid. That is, it's not about meeting the minimum standards. I just want to emphasize that.
Understandable, but it also comes down to dollars and cents.
Yes.
To put soft surface on.
I don't know, but we hear complaints from other municipalities with that too, because it gets really hot in the summer. A lot of that stuff is like a black material and it gets hot as well. Our practice has been, it used to be sand. And we've upgraded to,
Sand was not, yeah.
what's that?
I mean, sand is even worse for some.
Correct. So we've upgraded to engineered wood fiber.
Uh,
And in terms of the trail, we acknowledge that, you know, it lacked in maintenance this year. We did recently purchase a piece of equipment for one of our tractors where we can groom it and maintain it on a more regular basis.
Yeah, but the trail, again, to the point, the gravel is, you know, seniors can't walk on that. And like when I have a stroller with my kid, I can't even drive that on a gravel. So you can't even take a, you know, stroll around the park because it's gravel. It needs to be a solid, like a walking path. It should not be a gravel.
I mean, I will say through the chair, you keep referencing the conceptual plan for that subdivision. That was built exactly how it was approved and planned. It was always going to be a gravel trail around. There was always going to be armor stone for seating. We can definitely add some picnic benches or picnic tables. We could look at adding some benches in the future as well. That's something that we could accommodate. In terms of paving the trail, you're talking about $25,000. It's just not in the budget and it was never intended to be paved.
So people, like I believe Arrowwood residents are paying the highest amount of taxes, right? So
Can I interrupt here? You keep saying about paying a premium on your house and that it was promoted, that this was a beautiful park and everything like that. Who told you that? Plympton-Wyoming? I don't think so. I think it was real estate or the developer. So now you come to us and start complaining about it.
But we don't get any of that money. That
no, I understand.
premium doesn't come to us at all.
No, I understand that. Yeah, you guys don't get it, but it's just I'm just raising the voice of the resident. That's what they have told me. Like I have not paid premium myself. My house is not in front of the park.
Well, you can pass this on to the ones who did pay a premium then.
And more garbage bins, we can.
Sounds like an easy fix.
Those are easy fixes, yeah.
That's, I mean, those are the,
We reacted when, you know, you and I had communicated over email. I'd communicated with many of your neighbors as well. As soon as you brought that to our attention, we acknowledge, yes, we do need a garbage bin out there. It was out there probably the next day. Adding another one is not a problem.
So can I ask
let's
the
go
question?
with a minute. Yep.
Sorry, can I ask the question? And forgive me because I don't know. Did the developer advertise something that the town didn't deliver? You aware of that? Like when they were advertising these lots and these premium lots and a fabulous picture of a park and you can envision your kids playing there. Is that something that came to the town afterwards and there was an expectation that the town built the same as what they've advertised? Or did the town, well, what was within our means after the fact? And there's a disconnect between what the developer was telling people and selling their product compared to what the expectation from us was on the build.
I can, yeah, through the chair. The developer was the one that was supposed to do all of this. They were to put in the trail, they were to put in the stormwater basin, all of the trees and the playground equipment. When they came back to us, there was only a certain amount of money that they were required to spend based on planning legislation. They only have to do so much. They either have to give us land or they have to give us money, or they have to give us a combination of the two. They did both. They gave us some land and they gave us some money. But that money they were supposed to put into the park. They came to council, they had a concept, council agreed to it. That's what they did. When they came to me with a proposal for a playground equipment, It was only about $35,000 that was left in the budget at the time. I came back to this committee and I said, this isn't really gonna cut it for the area. I think we need to go back to the drawing board, put a little bit more money into this. It was never gonna be as elaborate as maybe people expected it to be. But this town did put additional funds into that playground equipment to make it what it was. So
And
we delivered on what we were supposed to deliver.
Unfortunately, the reality is the park that you have today wouldn't have been as good as it is if that didn't happen. It would have been less than what you have now. Not saying you have enough or you don't have enough. I think in this situation, you've got 200 homes. There's a broad spectrum of window of who you need to please. Some people would like to have a toddler park, and some people need to have a teenager area, and some people like it's a huge endeavor to cover that gamut with a park, especially with a $35,000 budget. That, like, just knowing what we know from the parks that we've installed recently, $80,000 doesn't go very far in one of these parks. You look at it afterwards and think, wow, it looks fantastic, but it's not a lot for $80,000. Right? So having what you have at this point is probably a little bit better than what you would have had if they didn't spend that extra money. But to get to where you're asking for here, like this is hundreds of thousands of dollars of upgrade that you're proposing in your letter. And I appreciate the effort that you've put forward and the depth in which you're asking for with details. And they all are valid points. Yes, it would be lovely to have asphalt to walk on. It would be lovely to have lighting and basketball courts or a soccer field or something, but these are hundreds of thousands of dollars that I don't see it
So
happening overnight.
yeah, so currently, other than the swings, there's nothing. I mean, you can't even access the green area. That's what I'm trying, like, there's no park. There's just two swings.
Access where?
You can't access the green area.
Yes. Can't walk down the hill?
Can I ask this question?
My sister can't,
Of the
my neighbors can't.
egress that goes down, is it something that could be incorporated?
Step.
Can we put,
Elevate.
we look at an access to get to the lower level? Is that something that's reasonable? I don't understand, so that's. I understand it's a flood.
Steps could be stepped or steps could be cut in.
Well, steps would be limited to people with mobility issues, right? Is this something that we could look at and?
Does the trail not go down into there?
I think on the west side, the trail does dip down into the lower part of the basin.
West, yeah, west,
Yeah.
northwest.
I'm not familiar with it, so I'm sorry, but.
It is lower on the west.
I've never walked it,
So like, there's nothing that goes directly into it, but it's not as high.
Right.
but we could extend that ramp down to it.
I think we could I don't know what the limitations are in terms of
The stormwater
the
management.
drainage part.
Yeah.
I looked at other places that have similar dry ponds and they have somehow incorporated access. I don't know how much it would cost, but
It's possible. I was there today just to kind of do a little bit more homework before we had this conversation. And I didn't walk over there, but I did observe on the west side, it seemed to be a lot more depressed and it seemed to provide access into that lower part of the basin.
That can be, yeah. I mean, if something can be done on that side, maybe that can provide an entrance.
Mhm.
So, yeah, so that's way, at least you have access to the green, as long as that green space is maintained.
That's a simple. Okay, go ahead. Alan.
yeah. And I was just gonna say in terms of some of the other concerns, I can understand the concern of when it comes to the space. Because even if we fell into $1 million tomorrow, there is no space to build another park. So I understand that concern for sure. So I think we can probably find a better way to promote that green space, because I'd love to be able to, when I walk to the park, because fortunately my daughter's old enough for that park. It would be great to see kids playing in that green space, playing soccer, throwing a football around, playing frisbee or something. So I think we need to find a way to incorporate, to better promote that space is usable, and whether we can prove access to it. And of course, I think we can look at adding a couple benches, because that is something my wife noticed as well. But I think we can look at that. And the only other thing I did want to acknowledge, just because I know Mr. De Silva was mentioned in that letter, I do want to note that Paul manages a very large portfolio, from parks to roads, recreation. but he's still very much a strong advocate for parks. So when those concerns of the garbage cans came up, he was on top of it. And he advocated heavily for that equipment that we purchased, specifically for that trail. So they're not falling on deaf ears. Paul's an advocate for parks despite how stretched he is. So I just wanted to make that comment as well.
I'm always, grateful for his responses, that he's always quick to respond as well, and providing us a background.
And to that, he can't snap his fingers and come up with a bunch of money and throw it in it without going through us. So that's, his hands are always tied when it comes to money and spending, so it's.
But they're all very valid concerns. And I mean, the space thing is just what we have to work with now. And that's the reality of, unfortunately. So maybe down the road, we have to improve walkable access to those other subdivisions that are safe for kids who want to go play at a park that does have more offering. But for now, I think we can at least look at what's reasonable, which is access to that green space, promoting it.
Teresa, do you have anything?
Well, maybe going forward, subdivisions should think about setting aside a larger area than what they are setting aside at the moment too, right? Because then you don't have to worry at that point. There's more that land that's been set aside for that reason. So probably maybe that should be looked at when somebody goes to plan a new subdivision, is look at the space they're actually setting aside or want to set aside for a park.
When it comes to the subdivision, they're gonna give you the exact bare minimum
Yeah.
that they're obligated, because that costs money.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't want.
If we had gone with the original park concept, it would have been the size of your house lot. That would have been about what the money that or the land that they're obligated to give us. And then we're gonna put a nicer little park for you to put playground equipment on, and that's gonna be it, because that's all the room we have. We don't own, like, they don't just give us a bunch of land. This was, the whole idea behind the pond was you get this big green space.
Yep.
And like I say, you got everything you got, but I'm gonna go to you and then I'm gonna finish off.
I have nothing. No.
Yeah, I would like to say a few more things.
Yeah, don't use up all mine.
Have I got time?
Go ahead, Betty.
Okay, the dog park. We don't have a dog park in all of Plympton-Wyoming, so I can't see that we're going to put one in up there. It'd probably be easy and part of that green space, but dog owners need to be responsible. We have, they can buy leads and pick up after their dogs. And there's a nice green space to walk in that stormwater management pond. So, and we're gonna make it accessible, right?
We're gonna look at it.
Yeah, well, let's really try. I have to agree, cleanup is necessary along that trail, no doubt about it. And that the hard surfaces, we now have new, as mentioned, we've got new machinery for that, so. But Plympton-Wyoming has had successful development and building in recent years because it is an attractive location and with proximity to the lake and low taxes compared to other municipalities. So the overtaxed business that I think I heard you mention that we're pretty well taxed here. We aren't. We have very low taxes. And then the more amenities that you want, then you might see an increase in your taxes. So shade, I don't see, you're gonna sit out in the sun. Right now, the trees haven't grown enough. Take an umbrella with you. I mean, it only takes common sense. Sorry.
No, it's easier to say. You have a dog with you, you have a stroller. You want me to have umbrella? That doesn't make sense. See, things are not the same as they used to be. The population is growing, right? So the amenities need to grow with that. And I understand the taxes part. I'm a CPA. I work with the budgets a lot. And I completely understand that. And I'm not telling you guys to come up with money all of a sudden. I'm just saying that there was that 200 houses has been built, and there should be something for them. And if there was no dog park since now, then this is even, then there's even more need to build a dog park now if it has not been built over the last, 20, 25 years. Because when you look at the community, like in Arrowwoods itself, right? You would see that each house have at least one dog. Some of them have 2 or 3. So, and yes, people are responsible for their dogs, but they need a space where they can let them run without leash.
What's the backyard?
That's not how you. So, I want my dog to be social with other dogs. So I can say the same for my kids. The kids don't need a park. What the backyard is for? Play in your backyard. That's not an answer. That's not a reasonable answer that someone would expect.
Giving that reasonable answer for your kids, I'm giving the reasonable answer for dogs. People
Dogs are-
have dogs, they can run around in people's backyards.
Dogs are families too. I don't know if you ever had a dog, but
No,
dogs are families too. They need to be properly taken care of. And if my street has 10, and then other streets have more, all we are requesting is, to look into this. It's not that you're gonna build it right away this year. Just start looking into this. These are the concerns of the resident of the whole subdivision. These are not just my concern. These are concerns of the whole subdivision, and just start looking into these things. That's all I'm requesting for.
oh yeah, what's the sense?
Here's what I've got. First of all, I want to thank you for coming tonight. I want to thank you for taking the time to put all this together. You've gone to the neighbors, everything else. I just want to start by in your letter, you stated that the park was unsafe, and I think it's a little misleading. You look at any playground equipment, if a child is left unsupervised, there's a risk for injury. Swing sets, monkey bars, climbing netting can all cause injury if not properly age appropriate or supervised, but they all meet CSA standards. That's why it costs us so much to put all this stuff in, is to meet the standards. So I disagree that the park is unsafe. We're all waiting the results of the recreational master plan, so nothing's going to happen until that comes through, which is supposed to be this fall, but like I say, and the dog park is in there. And so I'm going to jump into your points because there were so many of them. I tried to keep them in order. That's too small and age limited. It is. The L Parks was I think it's one of our finest parks we've desired personally. To look at it, I give myself a pat in the back when all that went through, because again, of this large green space you end up with, you wouldn't have that. You wouldn't have that in any park. There's some don't have any. So I thought it was a great compromise to get a pond, green space, parkette to go. So the tripping hazard, we've already discussed. Inadequate seating, we've already discussed. Lack of shade, this is a brand new subdivision, trees been planted, and you're years away from shade. What would a shade shelter cost? 10 grand?
9,000 to 10,000 is what we get.
So we could have taken 10,000 out of the play and put into a shade. So you'd have even a smaller park just to have a shade structure of some sort. Not saying one couldn't be put in there, but right now there's no money to do any of that kind of thing. Gravel trail not accessible. The material used was selected to pack and allows for mobility devices. This practice is used throughout the province, is why we went that way. The storm basin is not a usable green space, which I don't understand. By spending the money to have a dry pond, which means the bottom of that is all tiled to get rid of the water, we would have to put a fence all the way around that pond, because a wet pond is now an insurance hazard and we have to worry about kids drowning. So then you would lose the use of that whole space and just have a bunch of weeds growing. So I think that's what makes it usable green space.
It's not usable.
Let me go through this or I'll get lost. No courts for multi-use. Again, not every park can have every imaginable amenity. It's just not practical. Older kids and seniors have the ability to travel and to go to other parks. That's why we stuck with a top park so you could walk to it. Dog park, the master plan comes back with a high demand for dog parks. We will certainly look at it. We have to keep in mind that this dog park is open to everybody. So now we're going to have parking complaints from the neighbors who spent $20,000 to have their house on it. And where are these people gonna park? All over the street, and then we're gonna get parking. So we will certainly look at it if it comes back as a huge need. From what I remember, the survey, it wasn't, but we haven't seen the final numbers. Weeds in the trail, we've addressed. Garbage in the litter, we've addressed. The financial equity, the fact that $20,000 was paid for backing onto the park. As we said, we don't see any of that, so that makes no difference to us. As far as taxes are concerned, yes, I bet you pay a lot more taxes than I pay. But I've also paid my taxes for the last 30 years to Wyoming. I don't have a park. I don't need a park. But like to come in and within 3 years say we want all this is kind of unrealistic. To compare the park at Blue Point, it is a nice park. It's got a lot of stuff in it. That subdivision was a private subdivision. The people that lived there bought everything in that park, provided the park, and only after about 30 years donated it to the town. And then after probably 10 years at least after that, did we ever do any upgrades to it? So yeah, you're seeing it at its peak, but the original subdivision paid for everything in there. We didn't own any of that. You have pictures of McKay Park in Wyoming. This is one of our original parks in town. It's over 50 years old. And has several amenities in it, but they've been added over the years. But when funds became available, the pool, the splash pad, the playground equipment, the skate park, that was all highly donated or supported by the Wyoming Foundation or the local Lions Club that spent $200,000 to $300,000 in that park. So again, that it's not tax dollars putting this stuff in. To expect to move into a subdivision and have full sports facilities provided by the contractors, hugely unrealistic because the price would be outrageous. Your lot would have been 3 times the price. It's just, and we all know developers are out to make money. So it's bare minimums that. So I don't see the replacing of the trail to a hard surface, certainly not in the near future, again, because of money. And the redesign of the basin is next to impossible. So, like I say, I appreciate everything you got. There are some things we can work on in here, but to get everything you're asking for, it's not going to happen. Lighting, the parks are open from dawn till dusk. There's only, I can think of, the Blue Point has lighting and they put it in, I think, before we got there. And then our other big parks, which are the sports parks, have lighting. But again, the moment we put lighting in, then we have complaints from the people that back onto the park that the lights are on all the time. So huge expense and for limited use. So just kind of we're coming from on this committee that we only have so much funds per year. Like I say, we do a couple of parks here, there, out of, how many we got?
Yeah, 25, 30.
30 parks, and like big parks, small parks, little parks. So, like I say, I can appreciate it. Don't get your hopes up a great deal. Like I say, we work on the ones we can work on, and we'll see when the master plan comes back. Like I say, if a dog park is something that's big, then yeah, put a fence across the one end or something, and maybe it'll work.
Yeah, I just wanted to add too, because I know there was this comment there about the budget. And I agree, like as a community, we are experiencing growing pains and we're seeing that every budget we have. Because as a small rural municipality, we've had a very small Parks and Rec budget forever, historically. So as our community started growing so rapidly, those budgets quickly stopped meeting the expectations of our residents. So it's not a loss in us. Like we're very conscious of increasing that parks budget responsibly every year, and hopefully council, after committee recommends these increases, that council continues that improvement on that budget. But yeah, the budget's low because historically we didn't have parks. They were private parks. There's private money, fundraisers. And then having a plan is also more important, almost as important as finding the money. So this, like Councilor Vasey made a point, the Parks Master Plan will provide a plan as well to hopefully utilize and improve a lot of the concerns you're mentioning, but as a community as a whole. Hopefully we can get there on all our concerns across the municipality. But we're going through growing pains right now. There's no doubt about it.
Great, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. I just want to say this last few words. If you guys can, it's a request, over the years, if you guys can keep these points in mind, and, as the community is growing, hopefully, as you said, Alex said, there's a need for a higher budget. Keep in mind, step by step, maybe we'll
Absolutely.
be there.
If you guys have ideas, come back or want to fundraise for, we'd like to try and do this, we'd be more than happy to help. But it's, like I say, until the master plan comes back, everything's kind of frozen until we see where we don't want to start putting money here and then they come and say, no, should have went this way. So that's kind of the whole idea behind the plan, which is got pretty near every one of your questions wrapped up for the whole community, as Alex said. We hear you. It takes time. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Turner.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Have a good day.
You too. Okay, let's move for 4.1. Adoption committee minutes. I got a motion from Nettie, seconded by Alex, at the Parks and Rec committee meeting minutes for September 18th, 2025 be received and the committee forward to council for approval. Any problems with it? All in favor? Close, thank you. Business arising from previous minutes, 5.1. It's 5.1. Got a motion from Alex Bojan, seconded by Dean Thomas, that the report prepared by Paul De Silva, Director of Public Works, dated October 7th, 2025, regarding the 2026 proposed Parks and Rec and Kamlaki Community Center budgets be received, endorsed, and forwarded to council for deliberations. And as I believe we asked them to see if we can get updated numbers on it, so those numbers are there. Any questions? Anyway, and say the budget itself is the same, it's just
It's exactly the same, but updated actuals.
actual, so that's the big word I was trying to think of. Anybody? Nettie, you always have something to say. I'm killing time until I get to the right.
Lisa, what are you laughing at? I do have this one marked, maintenance for all parks. 26 of 33, 6 of 11, and the budget, 7,000 in there. The actual in 2024 was 90. So I'm just wondering, is that light?
Through the chair, we did increase it by $5,000. And it's possible that some of the previous numbers might have been misallocated. So we've done a lot of work with our staff to make sure that they're allocating their time correctly. So like, let's say they did some work at McEwen Park, sometimes they would have put that against the general budget. So that's why that number seems high and then McEwen Park might have seemed low. So it's more of just a training with the staff to make sure that they're allocating their time correctly. So we did increase at 5,000. We think that that's going to be sufficient as long as things are allocated appropriately.
Also at Highland Glen, the washroom pump out and cleaning services, is that for the portable ones or for the one that's building?
It's for the portable walk-ins.
Okay, because I thought I got more. That might be community center. We're sort of going in the hole there. Be somehow.
Yeah, I think
Maybe
we're,
somebody.
I think we're due in the new year, whenever we get to it, that we have to do a good look at the community center and how things are.
Mhm.
Because I'm looking at it as our insurance is $31,000 and our income is $8,800. We don't even pay the insurance on the building, let alone all the other stuff. But I do want to address the hall rentals in our operating revenue. We continually show it at $22,000. And we haven't come near that mark in 5 years. Make it realistic, that number should be dropping to like 10 or 12.
Yeah, and through you, I mean, we haven't changed it. It's been
I know you
22,000. We also haven't changed a lot of the expenditures either. I mean, like we could drop the revenue, but then that's gonna be asking for a much bigger increase.
Well, but realistically, that's what
It is realistic.
we're
you're right.
asking it as a deficit, so let's show that number as a true number is all I'm getting at.
I was being optimistic.
And are you done, Eddie? I'm happy to see the boat launch revenue is up to almost 12 grand, which is still short, but still we want to be. And there is some fine money there to come in as well. Yeah. Anybody else have any questions on the budget? All in favor? Carried, thank you. My favorite one, 6.1, accounts receivable. Motion from Dean Thomas, seconded by Alex Bojan. Obviously, we're the first two guys into the meeting tonight. The accounts listed as received by Parks and Rec Committee for September payables. Any questions on that? Dean was quick. Go ahead, Dean.
Lambton Sanitation, there's 2 lines for Highland Glen. Extra servicing for portable washrooms was more than the monthly. Do we not have enough of them there? They having to go and service them more rapid because we don't have enough and it's costing us more than the monthly fee.
You're the chair. I think that might be for more than just 1 month. So we asked for it on Canada Day long weekend as well as the Civic long weekend. So we found it was very difficult. They would come on Mondays and then they would come again on Thursdays. So it was difficult to get through the weekend. So we had them service it an additional time during those long weekends. And I think that's what that cost is for. We had quite a few complaints on a Tuesday after a long weekend regarding the state of the facilities there. So that's why we started to request one additional service on those weekends.
So in having more portables would not make that any better. Like if, you know what I mean? Like if we only had 2 and they were full by Tuesday, if we had 4, would they all be hot, but still just as unusable?
Have them all year round or just have an extra one on the long weekends? Is that what you're saying? Or
Either way, like we gotta justify the cost. It was an extra $550 because it was full on Tuesdays after the long weekends. And does it justify having more of them versus having more services? It's costing us more money for them to go and clean them, but they're still gonna have that same problem if there's just more of them. Like,
Yeah, that's a good point. We could look into that to see what would be the most cost effective.
and maybe we could lean on them for their expertise so that if you had 4, it wouldn't seem as bad. Having 2 that are full to the brim.
We could take that away for sure.
We could certainly look at utilizing that building. Yes,
People don't like to use it.
they'll use it if it's,
No, they'll go to the bush instead of going in that building.
I'm gonna
Trouble.
go in there one night. Check it out.
What's the difference with the building? I haven't been.
The fall washroom and it,
So is that the same as McEwen? Isn't McEwen part like that, or is it?
It has a decent washroom.
It's also
Yeah.
not super accessible. You have to,
yeah, it's not accessible. The light, you have difficulty getting a light to work in there. People don't like going in it because it's too dark. It's
Spiders.
a little rough.
It'd be good for the events committee for Halloween haunted house.
Yes.
There we go. Let's do spectacular out there.
That's some,
Sure.
put it where it was and backwards.
That was close to 100 years.
A long time ago.
All right, anybody else got anything on? I don't think I had any believe it or not, I don't have any earmarked.
You sure? Buy one.
Tell me the washrooms are gonna be done.
The most recent, I know they're supposed to be done.
And
by
October, that's what we're told.
Yeah, so it's the only thing that might not be done by the end of October is some of the concrete around the building. They're telling me first week in November.
So if it was. Oh, I think that's it, we next year.
No, we can't wait till
15 days.
because our grant expires.
Exactly.
You're officially the most optimistic person I know.
I think it's progressing well now.
It's almost November.
Club you can join.
Is the inside done, Paul? I see the plywood.
The insulation is done. They're gotta put the hardy board up
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then the fixtures and stuff. Yeah.
And all that by 2 weeks.
I could pull up the email if you want me to.
All right, all in favor for the budget or the accounts? Great, thank you. Oh.
Committee report.
Committee reports. Start with Teresa.
Status quo.
There nothing but good things. Everybody likes what they see. Hamlacky Ball. We'll see
That's great.
about someone in to do your own report. Make sure we don't miss out on his stuff at budget time.
What's that? Oh,
The Hamlacky thing.
Yeah.
I just list.
I have
Them guys, we
There's
won't
one.
get
I have it.
Okay. How about the Arrowwood Storm Pond? Alex?
We can talk about it again if you'd like. I think we covered it tonight.
Highland Glen, Teresa.
That's nice, except we had a little extra cleaning, cleaned up job expense. It's all right.
There's some new trails and stuff going in there. I don't know if you guys
No.
noticed that.
Haven't noticed that.
Did we utilize the forest group?
We did not. They look after the more of the afterwards, like.
I thought they were gonna help design and stuff.
Well, Al took it upon himself to go in there. He had some good ideas and the guys had some time and some extra wood chips, so they went in there and.
So we didn't utilize.
No, but we plan to work with them.
I think they, in speaking with Al last week, he has gone through Highland Glen and kind of flagged out areas that he thought would make a good trail. But Al has already done a lot of work coming up with trails. It's just getting the
So,
wood chips or whatever we're using to clear the area.
all right,
They look nice. I went through them.
row. Good. Lamberton and Lakeshore. Dean,
No concerns.
McEwen Park, Dean and Nettie.
No, it's beautiful.
Not Nettie McEwen, I meant McEwen Park.
Oh, well, both.
Well. Say it. Right. Won't say it.
Don't.
The K Park, Mike Thompson.
Good.
Wyoming Ballparks, I've heard nothing. Wyoming Trail. I've heard nothing about that either. And the top parks,
Good. Yeah, the park on the track looks great.
yeah, it looks a lot better than it did for sure.
Mhm.
Like plant some seed, maybe. Topsoil and seed.
Just cut down on the.
Yeah.
That looks good.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's it. Anybody got anything under new business?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was at a museum meeting recently and the chair of that meeting mentioned that they're interested in getting more hydro at McKay.
Mhm.
Okay, are you aware of that, or it's for special events, isn't it, that? More hydro? Yeah.
Through the chair, it's a challenge, and it's gonna be an even bigger challenge after our pool renovation. So there's not, we only have 100 amp service that comes into that park right now. And getting it upgraded to 100 amps is quite expensive. So they could use, when the mobile food truck is not there, they could use that receptacle
Mhm.
as well. And then there's some receptacles inside the pavilion, but getting additional power to that park is problematic.
Okay, that can't be done while there's construction going on. Except because of the expense.
Are we just talking about more receptacles, or are we talking about additional power?
I think you want
Additional power.
additional power, yeah.
In the summertime, that would be extremely problematic because we're putting in 15 horse pump into the, have just enough power basically at the park right now.
I'll tell them that.
Should we be looking at more?
Well, we can, but I don't have the budget to do that with the pool renovation. So I had an electrician and he said, you can get by on what you have right now. But if you want additional power, you're talking dealing with Hydro One and probably 25-30,000.
And what will it cost us 5 years from now,
I don't know.
when all that's done and all the work's done, and now we gotta put a bigger
Mhm.
panel and all that kind of stuff in? So you're looking at the,
We can look into prices to bring more power in.
Can I ask a question? The 100 amp service that you have now, are you giving 50 amps of that to the food truck?
There's a 50 amp receptacle, but they're not using a full 50 amps. Like the load calculation is only 20 amps or so. It's just that's the type of receptacle they needed.
Sure. But with the new pool pumps going in, is your load gonna go up? And if they needed to use 50 amps, there's not enough there?
According to the electrician, there could be moments where that's the case. Yeah, like if somebody went there and needed a full 50 amps and we were running the pool at the same time, as well as, lights are on or somebody's using the pavilion, it could become an issue in the future, yes.
And that risk, what equipment's gonna get damaged? Our pool pumps? If they're running.
If they trip?
No, well, what if they're running under load?
They have VFDs, so they will, they cycle up and down, so I don't know if they would run the risk of running at a lower amperage because of the VFDs that are installed.
how much money do we make off the food truck?
$3,000 a year.
The money we bring on that food truck would pay for the lighting upgrade of or electrical upgrade of that place. For everybody.
About $30,000.
5 years, 10 years, whatever it takes.
I could, let me do my homework and see how much it's gonna cost, but when we met with the electricians and we're trying to get this pool renovation going and we're doing it on short timelines, and I didn't wanna have to deal with, all right, now we gotta upgrade a service. I asked the electrician point blank, do we have enough power here to do what we plan to do right now? And he said, yes, you do. Part changes in the future, we're definitely gonna have to look at one.
I think it's reasonable to investigate it now.
I think so. That's what I'm saying. If we have to borrow,
Costs only go up.
then just that 3,000 is free money coming in, then that goes directly towards the electrical bill.
Theoretically,
Very good point.
theoretically, you could apply all food truck revenue to.
Well, and you got the pool running
We
full.
could, we could take, sorry, because we don't need to improve anything in the near future for Lamb because we just spent so much money on it. So theoretically, we could take that revenue from that food truck and apply it to this project as well.
We have one out there this year?
The coffee lady.
Just the coffee lady though, the other.
No, the other one's out.
Campbell lady never came back with.
She did not, so we only have 2 currently.
Yeah.
You got the pool running full bore. Especially Vince Pitty have got their stuff running with the blowers and the fans and everything else, and a band going on, and you've got the fry truck.
And I know the events committee was looking at grant
Well,
options to help move forward, but it would obviously grants that are out there would never cover the full cost of it. But perhaps there's a way to include that as well as part of our argument.
I will,
You investigate what it would take and then like better to have too much than, like I can see what Dean's saying. Our pumps will be the ones screwed out of it for sure.
VFDs that take it. I deal with VFDs every day at work and they are usually the sacrificial one.
Oh, okay.
So, and
I'm not an electrician. Yeah.
like all of our air conditioners are run and controlled by VFDs and it's always that fails and because it's variable,
Mhm.
right? And they're never cheap.
Okay, anything else? Anybody else?
The only thing I have is that the
did
parks,
confuse you.
oh, sorry, I apologize.
ahead.
Through the chair, the only thing I have is the Parks and Rec master plan is progressing really well and I would expect a presentation from them at the next meeting,
Is there a meeting?
this meeting, yeah.
And then it goes to council.
And then it will go to council. I've already given them the dates.
Perfect. Good to hear. And we look forward to I look forward to looking. Cause I'm sure it's just gonna be. All right, that's all I got.
That's it?
Hmm?
Did you finish that set?
Money, money, money. Which is fine, which means we get to spend them. I do have a motion from Nettie McEwen, seconded by Alex Bojan, that the Parks and Rec Committee be adjourned and the next regular meeting be set for November 20th. All in favor? Carried. Thank you, guys. Go Jays.
Okay.